Hey guys, it's Ashley and Davy here from Utah Trikes. Once again, we're doing a riding review, and today we've got two Catrikes.
The Catrike Dumont that Ashley will be starting on today, and the Catrike 559 that I'll be starting on today.
So these two trikes are very similar except for one key difference. Let's go ride and find out what that is.
Yeah?
Okay, Davy. Well, I'm a little excited here to start on the right side of the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I know that that's the bumpier side of the road.
That's true. You really got to test out that.
I get to test out this suspension.
The suspension that's on the Catrike Dumont.
Yeah, so that brings us to what's the difference of these two trikes and its suspension.
Uh-huh.
The 559, which gets its name from that 559 size rear wheel.
Yeah.
Which is the metric measurement for a 26-inch rear wheel. Both of these trikes, they're equipped.
Exact same trike down to the wheels, to the frame, to the gearing, to everything. Besides that rear and front suspension on the Dumont.
Yeah. One other little difference, and you do notice this here when you're sitting here next to each other, the handlebars are a little different. So you notice that on the Dumont here, the handlebars sit down a little bit lower.
Oh,
they're a shorter vertical bar.
I've never realized that before. What's that about?
It's kind of an interesting thing where the 559 there has the taller bars.
Yeah.
So your arms are up a little higher. The Dumont here, you've got kind of the lower bars. After riding a bunch of other trikes recently, I'm making a point here to ride in the shoulder of the road. It's pretty bumpy. You know, trying to get a feel here for how much shock absorption I'm feeling.
Because I've taken a Dumont out. I've really pushed it through a lot of different rocky road riding. At least from my experience, that suspension does a lot. Hopefully it's helping you pick up a bit of those bumps on the side of the road.
So the Dumont is set up with a RockShox air shock in the back. Before we left, we tuned that for my weight. Then in the front, we've got the elastomer suspension, which is pretty common on most of the trikes nowadays with front suspension.
Because it's a very simplified suspension style, correct?
Ice, they were, as far as I know, they were the first to use an elastomer only front suspension. HP, they use a combination of springs and elastomers. And then Azov, of course, they use titanium leaf springs.
Yeah.
With a shock absorber. Catrike, they're using an elastomer setup, elastomer wedge that they call the Celasto. They have different weights. So we've got the medium weight in here right now. You know, it's a little soft for me and probably will be a little hard for you. It's doing a really good job at removing that road vibration from the handlebars.
Yeah, really gets rid of that road vibration. Really takes the stress off of your hand.
Yeah, so one thing we want to see too as we climb our hill, sometimes on a shorter ride like this, it's really hard to notice all the little details. But as we climb the hill, I really want to focus on that rear suspension. What is it doing? Is it grabbing any of my power at all?
One thing I hear about suspension and why people don't like it as much for certain types of riding is because a lot of people feel like it takes a lot of the power you're putting into your pedaling and isn't as efficient as a rigid trike. So that'll be really interesting to see as we hit these steep hills and also go up this steeper hill.
Catrike has done a really good job by routing their chain right on that suspension pivot.
Yeah.
So that when you pedal, and I'm mashing now, where normally I like to be in a lower gear and spin, but I'm intentionally kind of putting it in a higher gear and I'm mashing up this to see if I can get any squat.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling any squat at all.
And I'm not seeing a lot either. I'm taking
Yeah.
a look at that suspension, and there's not a whole lot of movement.
I'm in a much higher gear than I would normally be. And like I'm pretty much doing a leg press.
Yeah.
Guys, this is not the way that I recommend climbing a hill. I'm not feeling any squat. Passes the squat test. We've climbed this hill countless times now on the Dumont here. Like, I don't feel that this suspension has taken any of the power at all.
It's really nice to hear because a lot of people have that kind of issue with certain suspensions. So it's awesome to see that Catrike designed theirs
Yeah,
a bit more efficient.
it's really nice to be back in the Dumont. Like I've mentioned before, Catrike really has this nice cockpit area. There are two-piece adjustable direct steer handlebars. Really help me feel like I'm inside of this trike. All right. You ready for this? Okay. I'm in my highest gear, and this thing just clings to the road. The Dumont just handles so well.
My torque and everything.
This is just fantastic.
Man.
Do I feel fat?
Trying to be the slow.
Okay, stability gear.
It's stable, sturdy. That's what I love to look for. Like that.
All right, I'm hitting this bump. Yeah.
How was that?
All right, I like it. I mean, the one thing that it becomes very clear with the Dumont here
Yeah.
is it's a Catrike, and it rides just like a Catrike.
Yeah. Like,
You
it's
know?
so hard to compare all of these Catrike.
I'm excited to do this comparison, but at the same time, it's probably one of the harder comparisons that we're going to do
Yeah.
because, you know, the difference I think is subtle in terms of ride quality and everything else. It just goes.
Yeah.
And, you know, the 559 that you're sitting on, it's already got a padded seat. You've got the wrist rest. It's already a very comfortable trike.
It's really hard to talk about right now riding it first. It's got a great recline. It's got great tires. I love the 26-inch rear wheel. It's just really going to come down to the very end, what to talk about, what to compare.
Yeah, I'm trying to hit these bumps. It's doing a good job.
Nice.
I'm excited now to go hit these same bumps when we come back. You know, there's that one particular bump kind of at the bottom of the hill there. You know, I hit it on this and didn't even really feel it. All right, so like as I'm scooting around here a little bit, you know, I can feel that rear suspension.
Yeah.
And the nice thing with having that air shock in the back is you can really tune that. We set it right now, so when I'm sitting on it, it's at about 30%. You know, that's a good base point.
Mm-hmm.
If I was just riding around and I went a little bit softer of a ride, I could let a little air out. Or if I really wanted a harder ride, if I knew I was hitting bigger bumps, I could put a little more air in it. That air suspension in the back it does a good job. I mean, I can feel it, you know, as I bounce around, that suspension definitely feels a little bit softer than just a padded seat. Yeah, let's switch trikes.
Yeah. I think that's really going to be where I am able to say how I feel, you know?
Yeah.
Once I sit down in this one and can really compare.
Okay, and put that. All right, so we adjusted that shock for you.
Yep.
So I was right about 145 PSI, and we got you down to about 100. And both of us about 35% squat there.
Making sure it's not too rigid for me. Yeah, you can definitely feel it just sitting down.
Like when I sit on this 559, I definitely don't have that initial
kind of sink
cushiness. Yeah, where I'm in there.
Like I'm feeling a lot more bounce when I'm adjusting around on it.
What I do feel are these taller handlebars.
Uh-huh.
I like them. Yeah.
We'll have to see. I like those taller ones, but Might be liking the shorter ones already.
I think part of that is because with that squat on the Dumont, it pushes you, you're a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Like the seat heights are pretty similar.
Like the seat height and the
until
frame
you
are built
sit
the
in
same.
it. But
Yeah.
then when you sit in it, then it immediately goes a little bit lower. So now your hands go up a little bit.
Yeah. We'll see how it feels.
Yeah, we'll see how it feels. Well, let's get climbing that hill. I'm going to try mashing it again.
Okay.
And I want to see how different it feels. Let's go. Well, it's interesting here because, you know, we've only gone a few feet. I already feel the lack of suspension.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I'm already feeling it. Like,
Yeah,
I
like
went
that.
down into that little, just that little pothole right
Yeah.
there. And immediately, like, I know what that would feel like on a rigid trike.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like that.
So I'm mashing it again here. I don't really feel any difference.
I'm feeling a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel a lot more movement on the back. I'm in the exact same gearing as I was on the 559.
Uh-huh.
And it feels like I'm losing a bit of my power with how much the back is moving. I think we just pedal differently.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely am feeling that the 559 is stiffer.
Yeah. And I
You
feel
know,
like
and I didn't really feel like I was losing any power on the Dumont, but I definitely feel like there's no wiggle or movement on this at all.
Yeah. I feel like I gotta like really push myself into the pedals. Unlike on the 559,
Uh-huh.
I was just able to put all my pressure into my back and all my power.
Right.
Much more of a workout on the legs there. I can't disperse my power into my back
as efficiently. I've noticed that. Wasn't expecting that big of a difference. So it's something you have to prepare for.
Getting on one, riding, and then switching, you can definitely feel the lack of suspension on the 559. Be interesting to see how this handles down the hill if I have any extra boost.
All right. Woo. There we go. I just really like to take it slow, I think.
All right. So I definitely notice the micro vibration.
Just like go, it's totally fine. It's just that suspension makes it a little softer. Power in. All right, now I'll hit this bump. Dang, yeah, you can't feel that. You can't, like, that's such a big bump. On every other trike, you feel that really hard. This, like, just absorbs that entirely. That's crazy.
As we were climbing up the hill, and as we were riding along State Street there,
Yeah.
I reflected that I think the biggest difference that I was feeling was the handlebar size.
Oh, yeah.
Like as we're riding on this bumpy street here, coming down that hill fast, I noticed particularly with my glasses, the micro vibrations of all the bumps in the asphalt and everything here.
Yeah.
They make my glasses kind of wiggle a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But I can see the vibration.
Yeah.
We're on the Dumont, giving it all ahead, going down that hill, butter smooth.
Yeah. This is a pretty bumpy stretch of road right here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm feeling it so much less
Yeah.
on the Dumont.
Starting out on the Dumont, I thought, oh, well, yeah, I don't feel that much of a difference. But now, you know, getting right on it. And that's why I think what we're doing here is important, because, you know, a lot of people, they don't get to go test ride a bunch of different trikes.
Yeah, it's really hard.
And
It's hard to find all of them in one place.
yeah, and then even when you do, a lot of times you're not just riding one right after another. Any trike by itself, when you go ride it, you go, ooh, that was fun. I want to keep riding, you know?
Yeah.
But when you get on one and then you immediately get on another,
You really catch those differences.
yeah, you really do. Yeah, I gotta say, you know, I've always felt like the Dumont, more than anything, just feels like a Catrike.
Yeah.
And switching back and forth like this, now even more than ever, I go, you know, the Dumont is a Catrike to the next level.
Yeah.
I think it deserves the title of Catrike's flagship trike. I know that as we were climbing the hill, you know, we both commented on some differences that we felt there.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely could feel the vibrations and everything, and I could feel that the rear end was not moving, but I don't know that I would go so far as to say that the Dumont was robbing any power from me.
Really?
Yeah.
I've kind of the opposite to say. Like, that's like the biggest difference I'm finding going from the 559 to the Dumont. I feel like I don't have as much power output. I feel like it's taking just a little bit. It's not like, it's not super noticeable, but it's definitely there, right? There's that little bit of trade-off with comfort and efficiency.
Right.
And I think for any standard rider, it's not going to be that big of an issue. But another thing I noticed is on the 559, putting in the same amount of power, but the steering stays really rigid and really straightforward. But with these elastomers on the front, when I'm putting in a lot of power to pedal, I can feel it kind of pedal steer a lot more than I've seen on any other Catrike.
Interesting.
Which, again, isn't anything that feels dangerous. It doesn't feel like the steering isn't sturdy, but it's a slightly more noticeable pedal steer than you'd find on the 559 or the Villager, right? And I think it's just because of those elastomers. And I really tested that out going down the hill. I took my hands off and I pedaled, and I was going like rocking back and forth, unlike on the 559. But then I let go. The steering is super sturdy, and it takes me forward. So it's nothing with the steering. It's just the softness of those elastomers.
Well, I would say that, you know, like every Catrike just has their steering geometry pretty much nailed down.
Yeah.
The faster you go, it just wants to go straight. The Dumont's ability to absorb the road vibrations, if anything, would help me to go faster because I feel more in control. Like, I don't feel like the trike's wiggling. I don't feel any vibrations.
Yeah, you weren't getting thrown around by a bumpy road.
Yeah, I don't feel the loss of vision in my glasses. And I felt like I could just keep going.
Yeah, like none of the critiques that I've said are anything like super bad. That's good. That makes me hate this trike.
When we comment on these trikes, you know, a lot of times we really have to stretch it and go, these are the differences.
Yeah, like with two really similar trikes.
Yeah, because the differences are subtle. You're on the bumpy side of the road right now, and I'm on the smooth side.
And I forgot I was on the bumpy side, honestly.
And what's funny is I even can feel how much harder of a ride it is on the 559 on the smooth part of the road.
Yeah.
You know, and that's because we have a stiff aluminum frame here.
Yeah. And I just entirely forgot that I was on the bumpy side.
Sure.
With this suspension, which is like, you're noticing the bumps in the smooth side, and I'm just not even noticing the bumpy side at all, which really shows how well that suspension works.
Right. I have an idea here.
Yeah, what's up?
Now, I know that a lot of people, when they think of suspension, they're thinking off-road. The suspension on the Dumont is not that. It's not off-road. And a lot of the trikes, most of the trikes that have suspension aren't really made for off-road.
Yeah, it's for a smooth road riding experience.
Yeah, and that goes into the use of elastomers and everything. They're really good at absorbing road vibration.
I think that's what they're there for specifically.
But what I'm thinking is, I don't want to be too aggressive on the Dumont, but why don't we take these trikes on the little off-road trail here real quick and get a little taste.
Oh yeah, do we want to do that?
Yeah, what do you think, Garrett? All right, let's do it, guys. We're gonna take this off a little bit bumpier trail here. So this is a utility road here that we like to ride every once in a while, usually with our fat tire quads and stuff, but I think this will give us a little better understanding of some of those bumps there. So one thing when you're riding, you know, any kind of off-road or bumpy dirt trail like this, you know, usually you're not going to be going as fast. I'm hitting pretty much every bump I can.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not too bumpy that the cameras can't actually record anything here.
It's pretty smooth for me.
Yeah, this is on the 559 here. I'm feeling the bumps. I am definitely feeling the bumps on this.
It's bumpier than a normal road, but it's still smooth.
Yeah, it's still smooth, and a lot of people riding, you know, might not even consider this off-road because smooth enough that, you know, we could do this all day long.
Yeah.
You know, and especially at the slower pace.
But honestly, I do think that's what a lot of people want when they think of off-road. They think of gravel trails, they think of light trails. A lot of people who get a trike like this, at least I would hope, they aren't expecting to go drive off the road into a field and just be
Yeah,
able
and
to
you're not
know?
going single track on not on one of these anyway.
Yeah, this Dumont's tackling this fairly smooth off-road.
See, I am feeling every bump, and I'm feeling it in my voice, and I'm feeling it in my glasses. Especially when you start hitting bumps like this, it pulls the steering to one side or the other to kind of go along with the bump.
That's where I think the Dumont's softer steering is a little bit better. It's not really taking me anywhere when I hit those bumps.
Yeah.
I'm just still going forward, which is really nice.
All right, well, guys, we
There we
switched. Yeah, this is immediately noticeable. Yeah, the Dumont here, guys. Yeah, this suspension is definitely doing its job. I mean, I feel good. This feels really nice. What I'm really impressed with is that front suspension. So the rear suspension, I think, is a little more obvious, you know, where you hit the big bumps and it kind of takes that bump out of it.
Yeah.
But the front suspension is really what I think most people are gonna like after a while, and they may not even know it. It just eliminates the hand and arm fatigue as I'm riding.
Yeah, I'm already feeling that a little bit.
Yeah, like I just don't feel those bumps.
I'm feeling a lot in the hands. That's the main thing. Like, I
Yeah.
can definitely tell those elastomers absorb a lot of this vibration where my hands are already kind of having a hard time holding on. Having a
Right.
hard time keeping a solid grip on the handlebars here because of those really intense vibrations.
Yeah, and I'm feeling that the front suspension here is just doing a really good job of absorbing those bumps.
If you're hitting these long trails, even at a slow speed, these handlebars are vibrating so much, it's already hard to keep a solid grip. I don't think I'd be able to do this for a mile, 2 miles without having to rest my hands here.
Most of your other full suspension trikes use indirect steering.
Yeah.
So your handlebars are not even connected directly to the front wheels. On the Dumont, you know, my handlebars are directly connected up to that spindle there.
You've got a direct line from the gravel on the ground to your hand.
Yeah, and so with the Dumont here, I feel like it's doing a really good job of isolating my hands from the road.
Yeah.
Well, that was a fun little detour.
Those big bumps aren't really too big of an issue. It's just that road vibration, really.
All right, well, let's get back on the road. Ugh. So what'd you think of our little detour there, Davey?
I think that was a good idea. It really pushes the extremes of that suspension.
Yeah,
You can really see the differences.
So-
Because
pretty noticeable though.
yeah, that's the kind of road vibration stuff you aren't gonna catch until you've rode 5 miles on a flat road. Right? Like that's when you start to notice those harsh road vibrations. But that was a really good isolation of those to really get a feel
Yeah.
for it on both trikes.
All right, we're coming back to the shop here, guys. All right, guys, well, we're back at the shop. We got to ride 2 really fantastic trikes here.
Mm-hmm.
I got to start and end on the Dumont, and I really have a new appreciation for Catrike suspension.
Yeah.
You know, like we say a lot, you know, it's a lot of times when you're riding a trike by itself as its own event, you don't really pick up on those little differences.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like when I started out on the 559, I felt like, yeah, I've ridden the Dumont, I've ridden the 559. It doesn't really feel that much different.
Yeah.
A little bit different, but not that much different. But then you ride the loop and then you immediately get on the other trike and then you ride it and you go, man, I miss that suspension. Man, that suspension, that was really doing a lot for me. Because this time going down the hill, like I gave it all I had in the Dumont. And, you know, I'm in my highest gear and I'm just pedaling. I didn't really have any pedal steer. And it was just buttery smooth going down that hill. But then when we switched, I did it again on the 559 and I immediately felt like a little bit of pedal steer, not too much, you know, but a little bit. But then I definitely could feel those road vibrations in my glosses that I didn't really notice except back when we were riding the 700.
Yeah, I feel the exact opposite. Like I do love the suspension, but what I learned today is to appreciate the rigid frame and how efficient it is and the power output of it.
Sure.
Right? Like I was really able to see how the suspension affects my power output. I have to put a lot more power into my legs and my hips compared to putting the power into my back and letting it flow through my body. Not a whole lot, but a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I was doing a long, just flat race or just anything on smooth ground, I honestly would kind of forego the comfort for a rigid trike, which is really interesting. I always just thought that there wasn't that big of a difference and that suspension was just the best way to go all around. But
Sure.
I really see the positives of a rigid frame as of today, which was really cool. But I do love the suspension, and I did see a lot of difference, especially out there on that off-road trail,
Right.
and how that can really affect you on a rigid trike, either on off-road or just going on those really long flat rides.
Yeah, and I would say that, you know, the Dumont is a trike that I would definitely choose if I'm riding longer rides, if I'm touring,
Oof.
you know, if I want that comfort. The differences in the way that they feel performance-wise, I would say are very subtle.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could go faster on the Dumont because I don't have to deal with those road vibrations.
Yeah.
We're different kinds of riders. Like when we hit the hill, I want to go as fast as I can.
And I just want to take it slow.
And, yeah, and you're more of a, hey, let gravity do the work kind of guy. You know, and so I think our difference in riding styles is going to affect that choice a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, they're both great trikes, very comfortable. I think you can't go wrong with either one. The 559 is probably a little more popular than the Dumont, largely in part because of price.
Yeah.
You are spending, you know, over $1,000 more to get this suspension on the Dumont.
Yeah.
You know, and it should be noted that the suspension is not something that you can add later. So if you get a 559, you're getting a rigid trike without suspension.
Yeah.
But it's going to be less expensive. It's going to weigh less, and, you know, it has less moving parts. Where the Dumont here, you know, it's a little more complicated. You will want to take the time to fine tune it. But overall, you know, they're Catrikes. You can't really go wrong with either one.
Yeah.
So, well, I hope that you guys got something out of this video and this ride that we did. If you have any questions about any of these trikes or any other trikes, let us know. If there's any comparisons that you want to see that we haven't hit yet, let us know. We can prioritize it. We have a lot of trike rides in the works.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
And I know a lot of you guys are going, yeah, but I want to see the Dumont compared to the Ice Adventure. Or I want to see it compared to the Azub Tie Fly or the HP Scorpion. Guess what? You're going to see it.
Yeah.
You're going to see it. We're doing those rides. We're happy to answer any of the questions you have.
Yeah. And make sure to leave a comment down below of which one you want the most.
Yeah.
That'll help us get those out a little bit faster. And if you're interested in the Catrike Dumont or the 559, we'll leave a link to those down in the description below, so they're easy to find.
If you want to come take a test ride, stop by our shop. Any of our sales guys here will be happy to set you up on a ride and let you go bump it around.
Yeah.
So in the meantime,
Remember, everybody, relax, spin fast, and ride trikes. We'll see you guys in the next one.
we'll see ya. Thanks, guys.
Man, you're not doing me any favors with this gearing.
That was in the middle gear.
No, I'm entirely stuck. I gotta
Come
walk
on,
this.
that
No,
was the middle gear.
like these. Ugh, crap! You're putting me in the worst gearing possible. Ugh. I try to keep
Well,
it in the middle.
you upshifted. I didn't leave you in the highest gear. No, come on.
Whew. Arguably, the front is the stuff that does it the most for me.
Yeah.
The hardest.